In our relationships with our spouses, we need to be intentional. Not because you want to gain respect, you are intentional in helping your spouse just because you want to see them happy. And that will sound like a strange one to most of us, because you will say, is that not the thing that I ought to do regularly in marriage to make my wife happy? Yes, it is. But there are some specific behaviors and specific actions that when you do them, it just makes your spouse happy and just feels loved and just feel appreciated. And those things are very important. You know, sometimes men will fall into the trap that it just has to be the big gift and everything. Those have like the big bang wow factor and everything, and there's that euphoria and all those kind of things, and it's not bad, but it's the everyday little steps, little actions that really do count, in my opinion. You know, there's a way in the house, that in our homes, that by default somebody has been allocated to do something or the other. You never sat down in a meeting and said, do this one, do this one. Some of them might be culturally appropriated. So you've never sat down to say, oh, you are the one that will be taking the bin out, or you are the one that will be cooking the meals, or you are the one that will lay our beds, and you are the one that will fold up. You know, those kind of tasks that just happens. You are the one that will tidy up the living room and all those kind of things. There are quite a lot of those things that do happen that we don't really have anything that has brought those things up. But do you know that encroaching, as it were, into the space of the activity of the other to help is a guaranteed way of happiness? Oh, my wife is the one that sets up our bed, lays the bed, puts the duvet and all those kind of things. But sometimes you just go there and you do it. You lay the bed, you set it up, you set up the duvet. Or the other spouse is the one that takes out the trash. The other person just intentional about it, takes out the trash. And those little tiny bits of encroaching into one another's work area, as it were, to render help and assistance, is a sure way that builds up and releases happiness in the lives of our spouses. Those little helps, they do really count. They do really count. And I'm going to say something very interesting also here when it comes to, sometimes you might say, oh, but I've done it for her, or I've done it for him. He doesn't even really appreciate it, or he doesn't really even take notice. Let me teach you one small trick. The problem has been that when you do it sometimes, because what's the purpose behind it? The purpose is not because, oh, I want my wife to respect me, I want my husband to respect me. The purpose is I just want to put a smile on the face of my wife. The purpose is I just want to put a smile on the face of my husband. And because of that, what do? You come in. The trick is this: you've helped your spouse to lay the bed and arrange everything. You've even helped them tidy up, and they've not seen it, and they've not acknowledged it, or you feel that it's not clicked with them. We have a lot of things going on in our mind sometimes that those little things might be something that you don't even think about. But what you usually will do before will be, see now, you see that I've laid the bed, right? You see I've laid the bed. After now, you say I don't help you. See, now, you saw that I took the trash out. After now, you say I don't really help you at all with some of those things. Try this way. Sweetheart, whatever you call yourself, whatever loving words you call yourself at home, and you say, what do you think of the bed? What do you think of this area of work that I've done? So you're pointing it out to the person, to your spouse, out of love, because you are intentional. You want to see that smile, that happiness released from them and on their face. And with time, you see that our spouses begin to take note of all those little things we call them, but I call them very big things. That helpfulness, going out of our way to be helpful, being intentional about it, about what we do. So you're calling their attention sometimes to those things you want them to see, to help release happiness without being derogatory about it, without being looking like you just want celebration, or you want somebody to rub your head or massage your ego, or to give you something. And that is very important. A lot of us in our workplaces, we understand how to navigate relationships. We understand where we want to get to, we understand where we want to be, and we know how to manage people, we know how to interact with people. But when we come to our homes, we are indifferent. We are not concerned. We want the person to have understood everything. No. Bring that same mentality, that same mindset into your home. Bring that same mindset into the home, that you are intentional to help your spouse, even in the mundane and very little things, in the task that by default have not been said is your own. You take those things up, you run with them, and you help in your spouse. And you will see the power of help, the power of intention in cultivating relationship within our marriage. You will see that at work in your home. In Jesus' name.